What's up, everybody? It's Saltiest Gaming, and we're back with another podcast. All right, let's get started. How you guys doing today?
Man, good. I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good.
Keeping it real. We got another member that's going to be showing up shortly here, Jago. But we'll get this popping. Let me pull up YouTube real quick.
Before we, how do you feel about Adrian Peterson looking like a grown man today?
Oh man,
for the Arizona Cardinals.
Tapped into the fountain of youth, apparently.
Well, yeah, ridiculous.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, man, he went over 100 yards,
eating, bro.
2 touchdowns, killing it, dude. They came out like gangbusters, like their pants were on fire, and then they kind of stopped playing for the second half, so it's kind of weird, you know.
Jeez, 26 for 134, 2 touchdowns, 10 receptions. Fitzgerald, shoot.
I think I said on Twitter that we were going to start at 6:30, so we might need to get it out on Twitter just to let them pile in here.
Yeah. That's why I'm late.
Sorry about it, man. Blame Nick.
Sorry, my parents came over like randomly, like 45 minutes ago. I don't know if they believe or not.
Yo, what's up, Victor? How's it going, brother? What's going on, Jago?
Not a lot, brother.
Chilling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you've been playing Titanfall a lot, I saw on social media, right?
I always play Titanfall, man. That's my go-to game.
Oh, yeah?
I gave up on Gears. I can't say I gave up on it, but I quit playing it when Titanfall 2 came out. And I just love the multiplayer. Call me crazy, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, man. I think that game doesn't get enough respect when it comes to first-person shooters, you know?
Well, I know a lot of people don't. They don't like you know, they want the traditional like Call of Duty type game where you don't fly or have like the grappling hook like I use all the time in Titanfall. But call me different. I enjoy that. I'm sorry. I loved Advanced Warfare, but I mean maybe I'm different.
Yeah. I mean, I like Titanfall. I pop into that game every now and again, but we were playing some Iron Banner last night. That was fun. We got some wins. It's not as good as it was when it was 6-player, you know? I definitely missed that. No power. Go ahead.
Hashtag bring 6 back.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a lot of fun with it. It's just that there's certain elements that they've taken away that I don't like. You know, they've taken away the fact that you don't have your power level. It doesn't matter anymore anyway. It doesn't matter. And that sucks. And I don't like the token system either that they've got going on. So
yeah, token systems.
Yeah, I don't like how. Yeah, I just miss the whole fact that there's an incentive to win. There's an incentive to put a good team together. That's gone now. Like there was an incentive to like put a team together because that was the only way you'd get experience to level up. You know, to level 5 to get the gear. Now it's just like, oh, you get tokens and you can play as much as you want and collect as many tokens as you need and turn it in. Like you could just grind it all day and get all the gear. That's just kind of.
Yo, they're stingy. They're stingy on that gear, man. For armor, I think I got 4 of the Warlock bonds now, and I got nothing else. I got weapons, but the gear is hard to come by.
Yeah, like I told you last night.
Brian gets too much for me. Go ahead.
I had a friend that it took him 22 Ingrams to get a full set of gear for his Warlock. So
yeah, Ned was level 30 something, and he still didn't get the full set. It's crazy, dude.
Well, you know, that's the RNG based system, though. You know, in gaming today, RNG, man, that randomly generated loot system.
Mm-hmm. At least you're not paying for it, I guess.
Yeah, that is a benefit.
So, all right. So Halloween's just around the corner. I want to get you guys' take to see if you guys are into scary games, and if you're not, I mean, whatever. But are you guys going to be playing some scary games to get in the mood for Halloween, or you don't care? Let's start off with Nick, because I know you hate scary games. So
nope, and no. Scariest thing I'm going to be playing is that Overwatch, Junkenstein's Revenge. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. You know, only scary thing about that game is how repetitive it is, right?
Yeah. Dude.
What about you, Jake? Are you going to get in the Halloween mood? You gonna be playing some scary games or no?
Halloween, it just isn't my like. I don't know. Maybe everybody's different. I know everybody treats it like a Thanksgiving or Christmas, but I don't really get into the whole Halloween thing.
Yeah, I
but
agree.
As far as scary games, though, I love scary games. I beat Resident Evil 7 twice in VR. I mean, I might go back through it. It's so crazy in VR, dude. God.
Yo, I heard that game was just absolutely amazing in VR. I don't have VR, but that's one of the games that's on my list. Like, so
if you think it's scary on the TV, try being there in the room with the dad that's trying to run you over in the garage, and he won't die. Oh my God, yeah, dude, you've got to play it in VR.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick that game up.
That's the only reason I would have picked it up on the X. I would have picked it up. I mean, on the Xbox, but the only reason I picked it up on the PlayStation was because of VR. The only reason.
Mm-hmm. So you definitely recommend that game to the masses.
Yeah. Oh, in VR, yes, sir. I don't even know how it plays on TV because I haven't done it. I've only played it twice in VR. Beat it.
Okay.
But good God, yes. If you have a VR, pick that up. It's probably the best game they've made so far for VR.
Oh, for real. So what about any other scary games like The Evil Within? You looking at that, or is that on your radar?
It's on my radar, but I can't get it right now. I picked up the first Evil Within, but I just didn't like it, dude. I don't remember what it was about the game.
It's kind of weird.
I take it back.
The Evil Within's got that like weird. I don't know how to explain it. You know how like some scary movies get to the weird territory, like almost like cringeworthy. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like The Evil Within. Fonz, you into any of this scary shit, or you don't care? Or
if the game's good, I'll play it. Doesn't matter if it's scary or not. For me, I'm a holiday guy, so I love the holidays. Even Halloween, it's the one time a year you can get free candy. Who doesn't like free candy? I mean, come on, it's free. So I constantly like raid my kids' bags and stuff, and I have fun with it. But aside from that, like for Halloween, I tend to watch more scary movies than play scary games. I mean, to me, it's like the whole and the Freddy, all the scary classic movies. You watch that stuff on Halloween.
Yeah.
What's up, Rand?
What's up, dude? Yeah, well, I started off on the PlayStation 1, and Resident Evil 1 was my jam, dude. Mm-hmm. That game was so awesome back in the day.
It was good. It was good, bro.
You know? So
I watched people play. I didn't play. I watched people play that.
I didn't actually have a PlayStation back in the day. So I go over to my friend's house, and those were some of the scariest moments, like, when your friends passed out and you got the PlayStation on late at night and it's scary, dude. Like, that game was amazing. So the Resident Evil series is good for me. I love that series. And like I said, I need to get into the latest one. I have the Evil Within, the first one right now. I'm looking into getting into that because I want to get Evil Within 2. So it's going to be a back-to-back situation for me. But yeah, Halloween is one of those things, I'm a dad. I like watching my kid get dressed up and do her thing, and you get free candy. So how could you pass that down, right?
Did you ever play Silent Hill 2? I think it was on the PS2. That was a good scary game.
Oh yeah, the Silent Hill. Oh yeah, dude, Silent Hill, man. Sucks that they canceled the latest one, right? Or I don't know what happened with that, but yeah, the dude with the triangle head. Which
triangle
one was that?
Head? Oh my God, he had a huge triangle on his head, and didn't he drag a big sword or something?
Yeah, bro. Like that.
Yeah,
that game. Imagine that in VR.
Yeah, he was in the movie. I remember watching that movie. He was in that movie.
Well, play the game with him in it, chasing you around. That's freaky as shit.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're getting into the season. Halloween's just around the corner. I thought we'd just get into that. It's a light topic, but moving on. Cuphead hits 1 million in sales. First of all, I want to ask you guys: did you see this coming? And do you think it's overblown by some of these people that are bringing out the fact that a lot of the sales took place on Steam? We'll start off with Fonz. What do you think about this two-pronged subject? Let me hear what you think, my friend.
Honestly, I'm not surprised by the sales or anything because it's a great game. But as for the other stuff, I really don't have any real thoughts on it. Like, I don't understand why, people are really talking about that. side of it.
It's just weird because I've seen it mentioned over and over, and it's kind of like if you were trying to reference it, it'd be like, oh, did you hear that the physical copies of Destiny 2 sold a lot more at Best Buy? Like, it's weird to me that people are doing this nonprofit work or whatever it is, how it comes down to it, that a successful game like Cuphead that happens to be on the system like Xbox, it's being brought up to kind of lower its quality or lower its impact. I don't understand. Jago, what do you think about this? Did you predict that Cuphead would have this kind of success, or what's your thoughts on this, man?
Oh, I knew the first time I seen pictures of it and reading about it that it was going to be successful. I mean, we don't have games like that nowadays. That the art style and I mean, you can tell they put love into that game. But I knew it was going to be successful, but I think it's going to be a victim of its own difficulty, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get people aren't used to playing games that hard, and they're going to get tired of it. A lot of newer gamers, and I think some of them may just drop. Bro. They'll just drop the game because it's like, it's too hard. I can't beat it. Whatever, screw it.
Mm-hmm. It's true, man. I saw a good video by GameSpot. I put it in the chat. It was about difficulty in games, and he went over a whole bunch of different types of genres and stuff like that. So you guys check it out. I'll put the link in the description. It's very few times where I watch a game, like a video like that, and I'm just locked in, and this video somehow got me into that mode. So yeah, I'll put the link in the description. Nick, what do you think about the situation with Cuphead? Are you surprised by the sales, or do you think what's going on there?
That's my ham horn. Congratulations to the guys that made the game. Like, for real. I'm really surprised that it did sell as well as it did. I thought the game was gonna be sort of like part of a niche crowd. Like, so if so many people saw it, that only a certain sort of crowd would want to play the game and buy it and play it. And the fact that it sold 1 million, I mean, is great, and it's definitely great for the developers. It's good for Microsoft, but whatever. I'm not really worried about them. They're going to get their money. But for the developers of the game, like, congratulations to them, because if you know the backstory of them, like, they really put their livelihood on the line for this game, and for it to do as well as it did, it's good on them. And so, do what?
I got a question for you, though, Nick.
What's that?
But how can these developers survive without any microtransactions in this game?
Oh my god, it's true, man. I mean,
that's a fair point.
And it's only sold for $20.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, how is that?
If you make a good game, and if the game speaks for itself, this game literally does speak for itself. You see people see it, it looks creative. The concept, the whole story behind it, playing the game is fun. And so this game speaks for itself. And that's why I feel like it's doing well. I think it's refreshing to have a game like this, like you said, that doesn't have microtransactions in it or any catch, or selling us deals, or giving us a half-finished game and then selling the rest of it to us as DLC later. So I feel like, hats off to the studio and congratulations to them. And and like Halo Storm just said, it helps a lot that the game was $20. That's true. But I mean, even so, still did well. So good for them.
Yeah, I'll get my input real quick, but we're going to get into the juiciest topic of the night because Fonz doesn't have a lot of time. He's going to have to get out of here, and I want to hear his thoughts on it. So I was on Xbox Podcast last night, and I brought up the fact that, there's some trends out there, with the microtransactions that they, you could pay a little money and it'll make the game easier. And I think Cuphead dropped the ball there. They could have sold some loot crates or some microtransactions. It's like, hey, if you want that easy mode, you pay $5.99 for this boss or that boss, and then boom, bada bing, you're done. But yeah, I think I'm elated to know that Cuphead has sold this many copies. I don't care that a lot of it was on Steam. I think it's brilliant that actually Microsoft came to the table with Steam, and they were able to work out a deal to put it on that platform. I think it's good for both entities to work together, and we'll see a lot of that in the future with, future titles. I think, like I said before in other podcasts and stuff, I think Cuphead is a cultural phenomenon. It's marketable, and props to the developers, and I want them to sell 2 million more copies. They deserve the success, and props to them. So anyway, let's talk about the topic of the night, and that is
question real quick, Salty.
Okay. Yeah, what's up?
Do you think if what is it, Studio MDHR or something like that, Cuphead guys, if they had put microtransactions in the game, knowing how the biased media is, there would have been an uproar because it was their first game, and they were holy hell, there's microtransactions in the game.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I mean, a combination of the fact that it's an Xbox exclusive and the fact that it's a new game, I think they would have got slammed, obviously.
That's what I thought.
So it's a touchy subject, the microtransaction situation. It's if you're passionate about gaming like we are, microtransactions, it's a topic that will get you either way. I know that this is a topic that's near and dear to Fonz's heart. We've talked a lot in depth about this situation. I've talked about it on multiple podcasts. People have made videos about it. It just seems to be a trend right now because Battlefront 2 came out, and they just pushed it. They pushed these loot crates and the pay-to-win part of microtransactions and everything that is wrong with them, and they pushed it to the limit. And then, news came out. Angry Joe did a video. He slammed them. All these people in the gaming media came out, and they were up in arms, and for a good reason. It's because they're using the Battlefront 2, which is connected with Star Wars, which is it sells itself. And, I made this analogy. They're basically wrapping dog crap up into a package that has Star Wars writing on it, and they're selling it to the masses, and people are eating it up. And that's not acceptable. Fonz, I want to know your take on the situation. You have a lot to say about the situation. So
I will preface. Yeah, I will preface it by saying that it is a beta. It was a beta that everybody played, and that it may or may not be indicative of the final release. However, the game and the response to this system is basically what we already knew, that yes, the progression system, aside from ranking as you progress through the game, you do have to play to rank up, right? But at the same time, there are still things in the game like these cards that you can get, star cards, and there's different there's actually different levels of these cards. There's legendary cards which can give you advantages and whatnot, and sure, you might not be able to get the most powerful thing, get certain ranks, but once you do, let's say you have $100 to burn and some other guy doesn't, you're going to have a distinct advantage over that other guy if you do great loot out of those, get some good cards. So therefore, it creates a pay-to-win business model. This is exactly what they do in mobile games. This is exactly what they do in games that are free to play. This is something we should not be allowing in our games that are $60. And this is what I'm trying to drive home to many people that are saying, well, with development costs of games and stuff, you know what? You're listening to too much corporate speak, guys. The development costs aren't the reason why they are adding microtransactions, or to be more specific, the pay-to-win macro transactions in these games, because that's what they are. They are large transactions. You are spending a good amount of money. A lot of people are. This is a billion-dollar industry. They are making billions, not millions every year. I've looked into it. They're making billions, guys, just off these types of transactions. This is not to recoup development costs. Matter of fact, I will go on record as saying, well, actually, I will quote somebody who's went on record as saying, and I think let me find it here real quick. Matt Piscatella, Matt Piscatella, of the NPD group. He's a gaming analyst. He's been in and around the industry, guys, for many years. He's worked on gaming brands such as Batman Arkham, Lego, the Lego series, Call of Duty. He's worked on Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. And he has went on record as saying that the video game industry or these companies are not using these loot crates because they are trying to recoup their losses from rising development costs. They are using them for pure profit, people. They are using them because they are there to use. They've been there to use, and it works. There is a market for it. That is why they use them. I would rather listen to a guy who's been in and around the industry for many years rather than listen to some Joe Schmo on YouTube that knows nothing of what he's talking about, listening to others all the time. I mean, matter of fact, don't even listen to me and take my word for it. Look all this stuff up. After we're done with this podcast, go look it up. I'm telling you, it's $1 billion industry. They don't need pay to win in our games. They don't need these loot crates. It's asinine to say, okay, yes, I'll take it, because they are pushing the envelope now. EA, what they are doing is pushing it so far as to create this free-to-play business model in a $60 title. What's next, Salty? What's next?
Exactly, man. And I don't know where this stems from, because I don't know if it's just kind of a gradual thing that's been introduced so people kind of think it's status quo. Nick, you were kind of motivated into making a video on this situation. Like, what's your take on the situation with Battlefront and microtransactions in general? Like, what's going on here, man?
Well, Battlefront was kind of like first of all, like, and it's not just Battlefront. We play NBA 2K, and we know, and the microtransaction situation in that game is just worse than any game literally worse than any game I've ever played. Like, blatantly try to get you to buy, microtransactions. And so then Battlefront came out, and we saw that, and the news came out about the loot boxes and stuff like that. And it kind of egged me. And I noticed the trend started. It started way before, with Overwatch giving us loot boxes, but those were just cosmetics. It wasn't anything that changed the game. But when we started playing For Honor in February, and you could grind in For Honor, or you could buy, get silver and get their caches to get the gear that you needed to be better. And I can't remember who was on Reddit, but they ended up finding out that it took way longer, like hours on hours on hours, to get all the stuff you needed by playing the game, or you could just spend so much money and get all the gear you needed real quick. And so, like, that trend was there, and then we had 2K come out, and then we had Battlefront come out, and now it seems like these single player games are starting to come out with the same model. And I'm just like, man, like, how it's almost like enough is enough. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just unreal. And like Fawn said, like, it's just out of greed, and it's just they're just exploiting the gamers, and they know that they can get away with it. And I can go back to NBA 2K because we've been playing that game for what, 2 years now, and like, they exploit the crap out of their player base when it comes to this stuff, and it's worse now. And so for me, it's just like, how much longer are we going to take this as a gaming community before we bite back and buck back at the developers and say this is not good? And that's how it was for me. It's just mind-boggling, dude. It's not mind-boggling because it's a business, so they're going to get their money, but it's just like, it's mind-boggling that gamers would have the wool over their eyes and not see the trend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to actually address Fastback in the chat. He said, "Thing is, loot crates help gamers engage and to keep playing longer." So basically, he says that the loot crates are there to keep players engaged. Yes, that is true, and that is the problem. See, if you want to keep players engaged by putting loot crates in your game, make an in-game currency. Do not charge people for these loot crates with real money. That is the issue here. That is where it gets into an element of gambling. That is wrong. That should not be in our games. We should not accept that. If there's an in-game currency and that's all there is, so be it, okay? That keeps the player engaged. That is why we play Destiny. Is it not? We keep going after that loot. We don't know what we're going to get next out of this Ingram, right? And when we open it, You know, hey, we get excited, we get something we want, or we don't, we get bummed and we try for that next piece. But it's all in game. With games that are making you pay for this stuff, or not making you, because people have jumped on me for that, but this option to actually pay real money for it, bringing that into the game system is just greed. That is out and out greed. It's ridiculous to even like back that up or say things like that, you know, well, they're just trying to keep people engaged. Well, that is the wrong way to keep players engaged, because they could do it without making us spend $1.
That's true. And I brought up the subject of gambling on the podcast last night with Xbot, and I wasn't attacking him personally, but it's interesting to know that in China they require the statistics, so like the percentages of winning a certain item, you know, before those loot crates can be introduced in the games over there in China. But
yep,
the problem is with the systems that are in place right now, you don't know the percentages to win. You know, it's being like in Overwatch, you basically have these coins that flip up when you open the box that look almost exactly like a slot machine. You know what I'm saying? So it's making the bright noise, the bright, you know, colors and the sounds, and it's flashing, and you're going to get an item that potentially, if you were going to put a price tag on the item, so like if you got a legendary and they priced it, you know, out for a legendary skin, if that costs $10, for example, you have a chance to get that by paying $1 for a loot box. So that in definition is gambling. You're gambling to get something for less. And the problem is, you know, gaming is open to young people and old people, and in the games that we're finding these loot crates in are, you know, they aren't regulated. They don't have like an 18 plus age requirement or whatever, 21 plus, based off of the gambling, you know. So it is an issue, but people kind of skim over it, you know, and I don't understand why it's different to, you know, for loot crates as opposed to the requirements to be 21 to go to a casino. Like, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Like, am I off base here, or, you know?
No.
Go ahead.
One thing you need to remember is people forget development costs have cost more, or cost more now, but so is their budgets. They got more now. I've always thought that the loot boxes were just a way for them to make extra money, and I blame the mobile market on that. And I don't even want. I've played. I can't name them now, but I've played multiple games where it was a pay-to-win situation. And when it's like that in the game, I mean, in the first 2 or 3 days, a game comes out and it's pay-to-win, you can be on multiplayer with some kid that's got his mom's debit card and he's bought everything to pay to win and get your ass handed to you to enough that you don't even want to play it anymore. And that's how I am. I you know, that's why I hate, you know, that's why I go back to Titanfall. There is the grind thing's okay, but I get tired of that after a while. That's why I haven't played Destiny in a while. Titanfall, there is no pay to win. It's just skins for your Titans and your pilots. There is no pay to win to get the best guns or the best Titans. And Titanfall hasn't got, because that's one thing, Titanfall hasn't gotten enough love or respect because it doesn't have that. And it's a great game. But if it's pay to win, dude, no. You know, like actual pay to win, I ain't playing the game.
I personally don't even like the fact that you can pay for any loot crates at all in games. I don't like having that option there, that you can pay real money for a loot crate, regardless if it's pay to win or not. I'm not a fan of it, but the pay to win aspect of it is deplorable. That is the worst thing they could do to any game. That essentially kills the game. It breaks the balance of the game, especially if it's a multiplayer game.
It should be in-game money only. I agree with you, Jay.
But the thing is it's like this. You know, I know the ESRB has come out this past week and said that they're denying that these paying for loot boxes is gambling, but I think they're completely wrong. And basically, they're saying that because you get something out of these crates, even if it's not the desired item that you may want, you get something, right? But a lot of times this something is crap. It's complete crap. You might as well have not got anything. You know, you may get dupes. You may get stuff that you just don't need. You're never going to use. You may get a pose from one character that you'll never use. So essentially, you're still, and I got to back up a moment here and tell you, I know I was telling you earlier, Salty, about this talk I had with my 12-year-old son.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of funny, okay?
Yeah.
I walked up to my 12-year-old and I said, hey, I want to ask you a question. And he's like, yeah. And I go, do you think that these loot crates that you can buy is it a form of gambling? My 12-year-old looked at me and said, of course. He says, Dad, these people, he has friends that buy these loot crates on, I forgot what game, Black Ops 3, he told me. He said, and basically he told me that they're buying these crates, and if they don't get something, they keep trying for something better. And when they do get something, they keep wanting to buy new crates, and he's all, it's addicting like gambling. And he's like, Dad, you're risking your money to get something you may not get. It's gambling. And I looked at him and I said, you were one smart 12-year-old to realize that it's gambling, because there's a whole lot of adults out here that don't understand that in the gaming world. They don't look at it as gambling. If you're paying to risk your money for a specific item or something that you want, and you don't get that desired item, and you keep risking that money, that is gambling. That, I don't care what what the ESRB says, that is gambling. I mean, if you really think about it too, I think what people don't realize is the fact that it's got such an addictive nature, just like gambling does. Okay. So, I mean, whenever we get like a piece of loot that we want or that we've been creating, we get hit with an addictive chemical in our brains. It's called dopamine. Okay. This is all neuroscience, and I'm not going to get too, sciencey or anything, but we've got this place in our brain. And funny enough, it's these circuits that they call the reward system in our brain. And whenever we do something, engage in any activity that's pleasurable, or we get something like even loot, it releases this chemical into our brain, and it's a sense of euphoria. It's almost like a drug, and we feel great, and we want to have that feeling over and over. That's what happens when you get these items in these loot boxes and stuff. You have that addictive nature. We all have it in us. This chemical, when it's released, we want more of it. And don't get it twisted, guys. These big companies hire these psychologists and stuff to come in and tell them, how can we get these guys hooked on our games? How can we get them engaged longer? And this is one way to do it. They just brought the money element into it and said, we can charge for this stuff. And hey, we got a real winner on our hands, because we're going to make money hand over fist. And they are. It's billions, guys. They're making so much money off this stuff. And I think it's just wrong to bring this gambling element into this situation, into our games.
That's where the term adrenaline junkie comes from.
Yep. So it's weird to me that, okay, so we have the subject of gambling, right? And I brought it up, and the counter argument is like, well, it's our faults. We need to police our kids and teach them about gambling. Like, is that even an argument here? Because even if you teach your kids about gambling, they don't control if they have some, nature that is, addictive in nature, and they have that, leaning towards that. And this might spark something that they don't know. They don't know that exists. We've heard stories out there where kids have stolen their parents' credit cards and racked up 300, 500, whatever amount of dollars on microtransactions. And that's just because they're addicted, plain and simple. Nick, you have kids. Is this something that, you're worried about, or what's going on here, man?
What, if my kids steal my debit card? My kids are too young right now, but if they ever do that, it'd be over for them, bro.
Because your kids are obviously going to be getting into games. They've played games already. Like, loot boxes are in games right now. Is it something that, you've thought about, or let me know, your thoughts. I just want to know from your side.
Think about that for future, because I honestly just have faith that the gaming community will actually at some point get tired of it and somehow get these developers to stop it. But I mean, the trend that we're going in right now, it doesn't look like it's going to happen in the near future. I mean, my kids get older. Yeah, man. I mean, there could be some games come out and, kind of like Overwatch or whatever, and they could try to steal my stuff and get money or ask me for money, I tell them no, and then they go behind my back and get my debit card and buy this stuff anyway. I mean, it's kind of crazy. And the Fonzie, like Fonzie said, it could have. It's just like gambling. It can be addicting. I mean, heck, how many loot boxes did I purchase in the Overwatch when I got my tax money and all that stuff? Like, I like went all in like an idiot, and that's just me. And I'm 29, so of course kids could get hella addicted. Yeah, I mean, and if that's and like Fawn said, if that's what's happening, and these people are actually going and trying to find out how can we get kids addicted to spend more money, I can see that. I can totally see that.
You know what?
So go ahead.
My answer to the ESRB about their definition of gambling, saying that with traditional gambling, you don't get nothing. Sometimes when you risk your money, but you always get something for video games, right? Well, I beg to differ, because if you gamble long enough at a casino, you're comped to meals, you're comped to rooms. They give you drinks. They give you all kinds of stuff when you're gambling at a casino. So I don't want to hear that bullshit. The ESRB is just protecting, these big, giant corporations from, not making all their billions of dollars from doing all this shit. Come on. It's so obvious. I don't understand why anybody can defend any of this, Salty. I don't understand.
How you keep people engaged in a game? It'll never happen. But give away free DLC and get rid of the loot boxes completely, unless you're buying it with in-game money. But that's never going to happen because the companies are losing money because they're paying somebody to make that DLC. And then
I understand, Jago, the reason why they charge for DLC. Now, I had somebody tell me this earlier. He said that the microtransactions are there so we can get free DLC and all this stuff, which is complete horseshit, because there's still with DLC that you're paying for, or map packs you're paying for with microtransactions in the game. Hello, Call of Duty. Anyway, but the point is that even I understand paying for a DLC that's worthwhile. You get a game. Let's say you get a game that's $60, because a lot of people nowadays say the DLC, it's terrible for the industry. This was a big concern. And it still, to me, it kind of irks me when that a game has come out with DLC and it feels like it should have just been part of the total package to begin with. I mean, we've all felt that, right? I mean,
Destiny. Destiny.
Yeah. But there is legit games that do come out and have legit DLC. Uncharted, for instance, it had a legit DLC. I can understand paying for the time and effort these developers put into it. It makes sense for somebody to say that I'd rather just get free DLC and just keep the gambling aspect in there, or the pay to win aspect in there. That is ludicrous to me, because they are making so much more money off that stuff, but they're shitting on you at the same time, because they're basically giving you an outlet to get an advantage over others, or to just speed run the game. Why? Look, as a gamer, okay, I have to touch on that a bit too. I'm sorry for all these rants tonight, but I got to get this out. As a gamer, I've been playing games since 1982, guys. I've never once picked up a game and said, I want to just get to the end of this game.
No,
I've never done that. It's all about the game. It's all about the progression in the game. It's all about getting that next new item, whatever. You're just moving along through the game, enjoying the story, enjoying it for what it is. I'm not looking to beeline it to the very end of the game. Yet you're having games now coming out that are giving you basically an easy mode. Here's some loot crates you can buy that'll get you to the end game faster. There is no for it, guys. None.
Bro, well, not just loot boxes, but what about whenever they release a game and now they're releasing the super deluxe edition for however much more, and they give you things that are easy, that make the game easier for you? Like, what about that trend also that's been happening? I mean, it's not just loot boxes, it's also there. And that's something that irks me. Like, once again, I'm going to go back to 2K. They released a $150 version of the game. Like, who wants to spend $150 on a game? And it gave you a crap ton of virtual currency that you needed in the game, and they gave you some shirts and other cosmetic stuff, but that was about it. But you literally paid $150 for a whole bunch of virtual currency, which, come to find out, you need in the game, because the game is pretty much pay to win now. What about trends like that are happening? Like, that's just as bad.
one element of Destiny 2 where you know, we don't like, me and Salt have talked about this too. It's like, we don't like the fact that you can buy things through Eververse. You know, you can buy certain things. That's crappy that they put that crap in there. Okay, buying shaders and whatnot, but
shaders and bullshit. Yeah,
it's really nothing that really impacts the game as a whole.
Right.
It don't.
But I don't like that it's there. But the other aspect, the things that they got right, was the fact that they do offer getting your loot system, keeping people engaged with that loot system without making you pay $1. That is the way to do it. That, you know, you can keep people engaged in your game for many hours. I myself have put in over 200 hours in Destiny 2 already, and I haven't paid a dime on anything from Eververse or anything, because there are elements of that game that just keep you engaged. This, how they're doing this to just keep people engaged, is just bullshit. You know, I don't like hearing these excuses from gamers. We need to stand up to this, gamers. We need to stand up to all these things that they're doing and ruining this hobby of ours, essentially.
Yeah, and we have a mutual friend that we brought this topic up. I'm not going to put him on blast or anything, but I put the topic of, you know, I put the topic in there in chat, and I said, you know, because this is before EA addressed Star Wars Battlefront 2. And it was basically blatant that, you know, it was a pay-to-win situation. It was basically a free-to-play model, but you're paying $60 for it. And I said, you know, we have the power as you know, consumers and gamers to voice our opinions. And he's basically like, what's the point? It's going to happen. You know, we just got to accept it. And that's unfortunate. I don't know where that thought process comes into play.
I'm not accepting it.
You know,
it's not look back at history. I mean, if we come together as a people, we can rise above a lot of shit, guys.
Right.
History.
I put him on blast in my video, so
I've always looked at it like this. I've been gaming since '87, and if you're a gamer, like we all are, and you're not a gamer, and people looked at me like I was weird. Like, why is this weirdo? I got picked on in school because I was a gamer and they're a nerd and blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. When it's a really good game, it's as good, if not better, to play through the whole game and enjoy the story. And back then, there was no DLC and there was no microtransactions. That's why I don't give a shit about them now. Do I think they're wrong? Yes. Mm-hmm. But why would you, as a gamer, want to, like, you know, adding to Fonz's point, why would you, as a gamer, want to skip the game? Why the hell did you buy the game in the first place then?
Yeah.
It's a story. It's an interactive movie or story.
At this point, it's more like people want to just be the first person to do it. Like,
yeah, I think it's a bragging right. It's a bragging right.
It's a bragging rights thing. Like this, like kids coming up now, they want to be the first to do it. It's all about getting your clicks. It's all about getting this stuff. It's all about being the first person to put pictures up, whatever. Dude. And so now that trend's going into gaming now. Be the first to finish it. Well, I finished it. I spent all this money on this stuff, and I finished the game pretty quick. Okay, that's cool, but did you get in the story? Did you get details of it? Did you actually enjoy it? Did you get the whole? Yeah, I'm a details kind of guy when it comes to most games. So I don't like that trend. I don't like that.
Really think about that for a moment. You went through the game and you may have bought some things to get you to the end game faster and finish it faster, all for the sake of being first.
Who cares?
How dumb is that?
It's stupid. It's the instant gratification.
If you're not first, you're last.
You know. So yeah,
that's the way society's going, though.
Right,
so
right. That's what I'm saying, bro.
That's the other side of the coin that I want to address with these microtransactions, because it's not an all or nothing principle here. There's two sides of the coin. There's also good aspects to it, believe it or not. There's been some, 343 is running a charity for the hurricane relief efforts that involve some microtransactions. So there can be some good sides to it, the longevity of the games if it's done right and it's only cosmetics and stuff like that. But so Shadow of War came out and there are microtransactions in there. We have a mutual friend that, beat the game faster because he spent over $100 on it. Is it up to us to judge those people that want to spend in a single player game? Should we even care about single player games having microtransactions? What do you guys think?
I care.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you should. Okay. Single player.
Tell me.
All games.
Tell me why.
Well, single player games like wow, that's just baffling to me. It's a single player game, so there's literally there's no competitive aspect to it. There's no reason for me to buy like if I play a game that gives me guns, okay, that makes more sense. I want that gun so I can be good, so I can dominate and be competitive if I'm a competitive person. But for a single player game where I'm playing AI, where all I have to do is play the game over and over and over again to figure out what the AI is doing, why would I buy loot boxes for that? That makes no sense. That makes zero sense. None. That trend needs to go real quick. Like that's what my video was about. I'm seeing that trend start in single player games, and it's just not good. It's not good at all.
But people gaming nowadays, I'll say younger gamers, and I've seen this trend. It happens. A lot of them don't have patience, and because they want to be the first one, and so they'll buy everything, even if it's in a single player game, and they'll buy what they can to beat the game in 4 hours less. That's just stupid.
I'll tell you my feeling on this situation. I think that single player games shouldn't have these loot stuff to get the game a little bit easier for them, because the reason why, guys, is because the developers can reshape a game around these loot crates, regardless of or not. They can make a game harder just so you may have that itch to maybe buy that loot crate. Make a game ridiculously hard for you wanting to do that. They can do things to the game and create it around these loot boxes to where you may be enticed. And that is the problem with loot crates. That's why I don't like them at all in the games. If they're going to sell anything extra, let it be DLC, map packs, or hell, the specific item in general.
Yes, I was getting ready to say that, the specific item.
Yeah, exactly.
Not an RNG loot box.
Fonz, this is why we're friends, because we think alike, all right? Here's the deal. All right, so anytime a store has a sale, right? Have you heard of the concept where they jack the price up and then they slash it, and then you look at it, it's like, oh man, this is 50% off of whatever, but they actually raise the price, so they're not really cutting it by that much. Basically, with the model of free-to-play games, that's where this stems from. So you have the mobile market, which that was the beginning, truly, I feel like. And then you have free-to-play games like Warframe. So that game is designed specifically to be grindy, because they need you to pay for the microtransactions to fund the game, because that's the only way they're generating money. But the way that this is a slippery slope for single-player games, and why you should care about it, is because what the developers will do is they'll make the game so grindy that you won't even want to finish it. You'll be compelled to pay for whatever they're shelling out. That's the issue here. I haven't played Shadow of War. I've heard people that have played it and they've defended it.
Hard.
Okay,
I've heard more. Well, yeah, true.
So they're defending it, and I'm trying to weed through their opinions to see, like, are they saying, yes, I'm defending this game because I like it, or am I defending it? I want to know if it's more grindy than the first one.
I can give you an answer about that. I've talked to my boys at work about Shadow of War. They've told me this game is so much harder than the first one, so much harder. Like, it's unreal. They told me, man, I thought it was going to be about the same. They say it's way harder, and they haven't bought loot crates. They're actually grinding. They're getting off work. They're going home. They're playing the game, coming back, whatever. But yeah, my buddy who's like the hardcorest of Shadow of Mordor was looking forward to this game very much so, just said this game is by far, he was like, it's 10 times harder than the first one. Like, it's really hard. And so I can piece that together with saying, well, maybe that trend that Fonz said was if they can make the difficulty better, they can start putting these loot boxes in here so you have to buy them. I can see that with that game.
That is what they're doing, in fact. But here's the thing. Yesterday when you were on that podcast, shout out to Xbot, by the way, good dude.
Yep.
Good dude.
He asked a question of you and of the panel, and I wish I could have answered it, because he asked you guys. He said, "Is what EA is doing now with this?" With their microtransactions, this pay-to-win business model, are they opening Pandora's box? I would have told him, no, they're not, because it's been open. That opened up a long time ago. That opened up when the first DLC hit the market. That opened up when people were buying horse armor that did nothing in Oblivion.
I was waiting for that one, dude.
Still on that one, bro. He's still on it.
Because that was the first time that was the first experience of mine that I had ever seen in a game, was that horse armor in Oblivion. And I bought it because I thought, oh, this is DLC. This is something cool. This is like a new thing I could put on my horse. What is this? This is awesome. So I bought it. And I realized
shiny new horse.
And because I was an adult at that time, it hit me like a ton of bricks right after I bought it. I said, holy shit, this is crap. Why did I purchase this? And ever since then, I've had a disdain for, DLC and microtransactions. Yes, I am sort of biased when it comes to that. But at the same time, you have to understand the reasoning behind it is very true. These companies are doing it just to make bigger profits. It's not to make a profit. It's to make bigger profits. You guys have to get that distinction right, because so many of you are out there making videos and saying, well, one guy told me microtransactions, Jay, is an evil necessity. Bullshit. It is not. You need to look further into it and see a big ass company like EA with a big ass franchise like Star Wars and see the bullshit behind that. They're not putting this stuff in because they're trying to recoup any kind of loss because of rising dev costs. They're doing it because they want to make more money off of us. Period. It's not about making the money back. It's about making more.
Yeah. So what would you guys say to the people that bring up the inflation situation and the cost of physical disc and all that stuff? I want to hear from you guys, because this is a counter argument to the whole microtransactions are necessary. So let me hear about that.
This is easy. Just look at what the companies are making. Look at what they're making. Yep. Look at what they're making even on games that don't have any microtransactions. Look at what they're making on season passes alone. No microtransactions. They're making billions. People, just look it up on Google. It's so easy. Stop with the bullshit corporate speak. You do not work for them. Shut up about that stuff. You guys have your heads out your asses and stop paying stuff, or stop buying the games that support pay to win, support free to play business models, and support these goddamn microtransactions.
I can say this. I can say this. If the game companies needed or had to raise the price of a game, they would do it in a blink of a fucking eye, and they wouldn't care.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Whew. I was about
flames.
About to put get the fire department out here. Flames are going on.
Fire extinguisher, bro. Flames, man.
I don't buy DLC, and I'm not DLC, but I don't buy microtransactions. I don't give a shit about them because I want to play the game, and if I get tired of playing the game because it just bores me or I get over it, guess what? I'll stop playing it. It doesn't matter. Whatever. I still got it in my collection. I can go back to it later, but I don't give a shit about microtransactions. They're bad, but whatever.
Let's not get it twisted here. If they have microtransactions in the game that say is just cosmetic, they've got some skins. It irritates me to some degree because it's there, but
that's Titanfall 2. It's just skins.
It's not affecting the game whatsoever. But when you implement things that make the games easier or give you an advantage in any way, guys, yes, even single player games are shaping themselves around these microtransactions. For anybody that doesn't believe that, I don't know what to tell you. It's facts. It's logical. Just think about it. Look at everything and just back up for a moment. Look at what the game industry is doing. Type it in on Google. See what they're making. See what kind of microtransactions are in their games, and then ask yourself: do I think this game is being affected by these microtransactions? And I guarantee you that it probably at least 7 out of 10 times, yes, it is affected by those microtransactions.
It's true, man. And I think it's funny how people are like, well, Battlefront 2 is giving away free DLC. The reason why they're doing that is because in the first game, their player base was fractured. Okay, that's one of the reasons why the player count fell off so dramatically. It happened in Battlefield 1. So the reason why they're doing that is because it's in their own best interest. It's not because it's in your best interest as a consumer, and it's not because you're buying, these microtransactions. And second of all, if companies offered a system so where, like in Overwatch, if you're able to just outright get money and buy the skins for money in a tier system, they'd still make money. GTA 5 made $500 million off of their microtransaction system.
Yeah.
That was in the news. So there is a way to do it in the right way. So it's not all good.
That's the reason why they haven't brought out GTA 6 yet. Why do they need to?
Right.
They're making. They're making
it's a money
ton of money
machine,
Yeah.
When I typed this out in chat, but that goes away when this is out. So I'm just going to say it here. But when these companies, they pay for psychologists to come in and help them shape these sorts of shady practices, it should have everybody thinking about these and questioning these shady practices. Why is this stuff implemented in the game? Why are they hiring these psychologists to come in and try and find ways to keep the players engaged? Why? It's because they are trying to get everything they can out of us. And yes, it's a business. They're trying to make money, but there's a point. There's got to be a point there to when they cross a line and it's getting to the point of just straight up greed, and they've crossed that line. They've definitely crossed that line, especially this new thing that EA is pushing now with Star Wars Battlefront 2. Thank God I don't like the game, because I would be really bummed about it. But if I did, I still wouldn't purchase that game based on their pay-to-win business model, their free-to-play business model.
What's sad, Fonz? You can talk to somebody blue in the face until you're out of breath and about to die about DLC and everything we're talking about tonight. It will not change a person at all if they're going to buy DLC.
Hey, PSN Down said Illuminati. No, they've actually hired psychologists to come to these companies to find ways to keep us more engaged. That is fact.
Businesses do that all the time. I read that article. They hire psychologists for different aspects of the business model because it helps them make money. They need to know the psyche of the people that buy their product. It's not a new thing. It's not an Illuminati situation. It's facts. Okay. They study the way human beings act, and they perform things and they implement it into the game. Like if they have the loot crates the way they are, it's because our psyche, goes toward that model, and we want to buy more because they've made it that way. So
the people that make TV commercials, I'm sure, do it just to try to get you to buy their product. Make the right commercial to get people to jump on our product.
Yeah,
it's not hard. It's common sense.
Yep, it really is. Jago, well said. It's common sense, guys. I don't understand why some people see it and some people don't. This community, look, it's great. There's a lot of great people in the community, and I've even heard a lot of great people defend some of these practices. And I don't hate them for it, but as a gamer, I wish that they would really look into it and understand that what I'm saying, what Salt is saying, what Jago, what Nick, what we're trying to say is that at least look into it, because this is a problem. It is shaping our games going forward, and it could ruin our hobby the way we know it today.
Right.
Have y'all guys seen the amount of money that PUBG has made on was it my PUBG? I think it was PUBG made on microtransactions.
Yeah, they're making that's how
crazy,
dude. So here's the deal: these gaming companies are making more in microtransactions than the actual game at this point. So that's why a lot of them are trying to go towards the subscription model. And they want you to stay active in the game so you can buy microtransactions. That's the whole point, because if you fall off as a customer, you're a dollar sign that's going away. And so that's,
I kind of see in the chat, it's still, I don't know if it's, if they're saying it to me or not, but just to confirm here, because I don't think many people believe me when I say that psychologists are being hired by these companies. And I will tell you right now, all you got to do is type into Google, okay, Bungie used a behavioral psychologist to make Destiny more appealing, guys. It's there. It's right there.
It's true.
It's true. I read it.
I've
I've
taken business classes in college. It's there, man. That's the thing that we need to see is, these publishers, they're businesses. They make billions of dollars. They're going to do what they need to do to make their money. Okay. So this isn't something that we're making up, but the fact of the matter is we're not going to tell you how to spend your money. That's not what we're here for. We're trying to give you the other side of the argument, because a lot of the times in these podcasts or in the community, we get certain opinions formed, and then everybody likes to hop on the train. It's kind of a circle jerk situation that happens through the community,
Or
so
you get drowned out. You get drowned out.
You get drowned out or whatever. You don't have, you don't get to say your say, or if you do, you get jumped on, or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, that's what this is for. This is, we're able to give the other side of the argument, so you could take it and you could do whatever you want with it. If you want to go spend $200 in Shadow of War and brag about it, that's your prerogative. We're not going to laugh at you in your face. We might do it behind your back, but that's besides the point, right? It's just, it is what it is.
It's not just in gaming, Salty. It's in life. If you're not part of the popular opinion, you're going to be wrong, and they will tell you you're wrong.
Let me just say this. Like, all these points are great, but let's get down to the simple fact that this is the gaming industry, and you are the customer, and you do get a lot of say in how these games are developed. And if these developers keep, realizing they can get away with putting these in the game, they're going to keep doing it. And it's up to us as a gaming community. It's up to you as a consumer to let them know this is not happening. And I mean, in all reality, the control's on us. We just have to have the self-control to do whatever. Like, we had that conversation with our buddy saying, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Why should I fight it? Well, case in point, there was enough people that said enough things about Star Wars Battlefront that EA felt like they had to come out and do damage control about it. So people's voices were heard. So there's an example. So I mean, we can talk about this all we want, but make sure that your voice is heard and stop trying to accept it. And if you like it, whatever. But the people that don't like it, let them know. I mean, we all have a voice. We do. In the end of the day, we are in charge because we are the consumer. We have to buy the product.
You know what pisses me off is people. I know Lisa Papa says he's all digital now, and that's him. A lot of people are, because it's just convenient. I still like the physical copy. Why? Because I actually get something physical, the disc, the box art. Somebody had to drive it to the store. You go to buy that same game digitally, it still costs the same price. Why? Why? And why? I mean, that's part of the same thing. Why? Digital games should be $20 cheaper, at least, on day one. Maybe that's just me. Or am I crazy?
I mean, there is some, some things there, but I don't know, man. Yeah, Fonz, I know you got to get out of here.
Next, bro. What's next?
What's up?
Now think about this. If people go along and let's say that EA Star Wars Battlefront 2 comes out and the pay-to-win business model is intact, it is still there. If that happens and people buy this game and support this business model, guys, I have a feeling that this will open up the door for EA's Anthem to come out with a bang right away with microtransactions.
Please don't. Please don't.
Don't.
Please don't, bro. Please don't. Oh my god, dude.
So
you're right. Yeah, I have a feeling you're right, dude. I have high hopes for Anthem because they already ruined Mass Effect.
Me too.
And they're getting ready to ruin Dragon Age, which is another different subject. But yeah, dude, don't get me started, dude. If Anthem comes out like that, bro, I would be so upset.
I'm a Dragon Age fan as well, man. And that's the thing with these microtransactions, guys. That's why you have to speak with your wallets. I'm not telling you guys that you're stupid or anything if you go and buy this game. Okay, I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm just saying it's a bad situation. I at least implore you to look at the situation and really, really look into it and understand that what we're saying here is not bullshit. We're not trying to lie to you. No. These companies do not need this kind of microtransaction in these games. They don't. It's unnecessary, guys. It's unnecessary.
So if push comes to shove, and if you do feel like you want to, stand up and make your voice heard, you can wait until Battlefront 2 goes into the vault. It doesn't take that long for these games to get there for the EA vault, and you can play it as a free-to-play game as it should be, So it is what it is. So I think we hit that, nail with our hammers a lot. Do you guys have anything else you want to say about microtransactions before we move on?
No.
Or peace.
Vote with your wallet.
It's true.
Yeah, vote with your wallet.
Vote with your wallet.
We do
your research, like Fawn says, man.
A lot of people say that we can't really do anything about it. It's here to stay, but we can, guys. If we all collectively as a people, as gamers, lash out against this and speak with our wallets and don't buy certain things, yes, you can make a big dent in it. You can make them backpedal on this. You can make them say,
yep,
this is a bad business move. We apologize. We're taking it out.
Yep. Amen.
And they will. Once they stop making money on it, they will.
Just look at how fast the player bases for some of these games fall off, like Lawbreakers and stuff. It's not the same thing, but player bases can drop off, or companies don't make the sales numbers that they projected, and they will change if you show them with your wallet and your sales. So anyway,
well, just look at the new Mass Effect. They stopped supporting it because it didn't sell the way they wanted it to.
Yep. Don't get me started on that either. Don't get me started.
So anyway, Phil Spencer was in Brazil last week. Did you guys see this on social media? He was at a convention in Brazil, showing off the Xbox One X, and he had to sit down interview with a couple different outlets. I thought it was interesting because he was asked about crossplay between Sony and Xbox, and he pretty much came out and said, we don't see that happening anytime soon. So obviously, they tried with Minecraft, the new update that was coming out, and they got to a certain point where I guess they're just giving up because Sony's not coming to the table and they don't want to come to the table. They, did talk to Nintendo, which, traditionally they wouldn't go that route, but somehow they got them to agree, to do crossplay. And what's interesting is it's not just Minecraft that's going to be crossplay between Nintendo and Xbox. There's also another game called Crazy Justice. It's by Black Riddles. It's a new game. It's a cel-shaded third-person shooter. That's going to be on the Switch as well. I think, what's that game that you drive cars around? I'm spacing it. That's on the Switch as well. It's going to be crossplay with Nintendo. I want to know from you guys, why is Sony not coming to the table and not agreeing to crossplay? And do you think it's a good business move for them or not? Nick, I want to hear from you first about this topic.
Sony's being stingy. And I don't think Sony really cares that much, man. I think that they just care about their fan base. I don't think they care about anything else. And so, and we know it's possible. We know it's possible. Like, we've seen videos of people saying, "Oh, they're like," I don't know if you saw the video. There's a video that's up that Fortnite actually had, by mistake, had crossplay where people were playing with each other from Xbox and PlayStation. So we know that it's possible. So they can't lie about that. And so I don't know, man. Like, Sony's deal is, but I think it's just more selfishness on their part. They're not gonna get their. I think they feel like, I don't know, they'll get duked somehow. I don't know, but it seems like they're more focused on their brand and their community, which is great. But I think crossplay needs to happen. It just needs to happen. I mean, and soon.
So, Jago, what do you think about Sony refusing to do crossplay with Xbox? Is it a business move only, or what's the bottom line here, man?
Well, I'll be honest. I don't give a crap whether they do or not. That's them. But you got to realize that they're, according to the numbers, they're way ahead, and console sales wise, and it's a different culture over there. They're happy. It's a different whole culture than over here. They're happy where they're at. And if they don't do crossplay, for right now, it's not going to hurt them. So why do they need to? I mean, and like I said, at the end of the day, I don't give a shit. I mean, whatever. I don't need to cross-play with PlayStation fans. I don't even use my PlayStation. I very rarely do. The last time I turned it on was in August when I got Star Trek Bridge Crew VR, and that's a good game, but it's hard. You know, all the controls and shit. But
yeah,
I mean, they're gonna do, because the Asian culture over there, they've always done what they want to do anyway, and they're gonna do what they want to do when it comes to the gaming side of things. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, my take on the whole situation, Sony is focused in the console space, and they're leading by over 30 million, right?
Yep.
And Sony as a business is, you know, in other ventures has failed repeatedly to the point where they're almost at bankruptcy. Okay, so it is crucial that they keep, you know, the PlayStation division ahead of the game. Okay,
exactly.
Last generation with the 360, you know, Microsoft was ahead, and I'm sure that scared PlayStation, you know, but
it did.
It's neither here nor there. So I think that, you know, overall Sony's just like, we can't give an inch to Microsoft. It doesn't matter if it's something little or it's something big. We need to be cutthroat because we need to keep our advantage where it is, you know. So, you know, with the crossplay situation, would it be that hard for them to come out and say, oh, we're going to do this with Minecraft? What it does, so if they agreed to do Minecraft, it would open Pandora's box for them, because their fans would say, well, you did it for this game, so why can't you do it for this game or that game? And then things would happen. So, like, if they got on Microsoft servers and the game ran better or smoother, then it would open them up to criticism, which is unnecessary.
Almost
for them.
Definitely.
So,
most definitely, they're scared of what would happen. So if they allowed crossplay.
It's a savvy business decision, but I think with Nintendo coming to the table with Xbox, I think that's the game changer right there. Because if you guys aren't aware, Nintendo's kind of a big deal. Okay, they they started. You know, there was Atari before them, but you know, everybody knows Nintendo, and it's like, so Nintendo traditionally, they don't do this kind of stuff. And I think it just blows my mind that Phil Spencer was able to come to the table with Nintendo and come up with a deal where Nintendo agreed to do crossplay. It's crazy for me to even say that, right? Because you have some things coming up where if they want to, they can work together. You know, they've already done it. That's the biggest thing with business is, you have to come to the table, and once you get that first deal out of the way, it's a lot easier to do other deals, you know?
Oh, most definitely.
So it's interesting to think about the fact that Nintendo and Xbox are kind of, you know, friends now, you know, kumbaya or whatever, and the fruits
bring out the unity candle.
You know what I'm saying? Like the fruits that can come in the future. What do you guys think of this? Like, could this possibly be an advantage for these two companies that, you know, PlayStation eventually would be like left outside and that, you know, their fans would be pissed off about it? Or
most definitely, dude. Could you see if Microsoft and Nintendo keep playing nice together? Maybe. I don't think it would happen, but maybe down the road,
if we got
Nintendo would say,
bruh.
Yeah, and then Sony's over there going, damn, we were stupid.
Right. I don't think that would ever happen, but like,
no,
yeah. I mean, but if they keep playing nice, just think of the possibilities that could happen.
Super Mario,
right?
The new Super Mario Brothers fixing to come out on the Switch. It could maybe possibly be on the Xbox.
See, here's the thing: Rare is a company that was with Nintendo, right? With GoldenEye, Donkey Kong,
Killer Instinct back in the day.
You know, so they've already had some crossovers, right? You know, like Nintendo and Xbox, you know, have had discussions, obviously, because you have these old titles and you had the rare replay situation. I know that Xbox wasn't able to put GoldenEye in there because it's, you know, the IP is still with Nintendo, right? And the Donkey Kong situation, that's why that wasn't in there. But the fact still remains that is a possibility, you know?
Yeah.
So they can come to the table about whatever they need to come to the table about. You know, eventually, I don't know what the specs are for the Switch, but let's say PUBG, for example. If Microsoft decides to buy that IP, which is still in the air, it could happen. If the Switch is able to run that game, you know, maybe they could have crossplay on that, and maybe PlayStation be left out in the cold. It's just a scenario that you could look at, but you know, a savvy business decision right now for PlayStation could come back and bite them in the butt. You know what I'm saying?
I was going to say that Sony right now, they're going to do what they want to do because they're in the lead. But if this, you know, the crossplay and Nintendo, Xbox being behind, but they're working with Nintendo now, and things go the way, you know, it goes good for gamers, and it goes really good with Xbox and Nintendo together. Sony may be, you know, SOL, and then by that time they're SOL, it's going to be too late. And oh well, I mean that's their fault. It's going to be their fault.
Yeah. So, you know, that's what I don't know. Personally, I'm not a business person, you know, so I don't have that cutthroat attitude. But personally, you know, my philosophy in life is I like to build friendships, you know, and I don't like to, you know, build up walls or whatever. And that's the thing that's happening in between Sony and Xbox. Xbox is clearly coming to the table and saying, hey, you know, we know that we're competitors, you know, but we kind of want to have a relationship there. Like, I know a lot of people dog on Phil Spencer's because he's too kumbaya, right? He's not cutthroat enough, and you know, he was given that promotion to, you know, he's part of the 16 that go to the table at Microsoft, and he's able to give his spiel. Okay, he's head of gaming now, and that's a topic that we talked about before. And it's like Phil is looking at gaming in the bigger picture, because he mentioned that in this interview. He said, you know, it's gaming is gaming. You know, because Microsoft is this big company, they're a software company or whatever. So, you know, you can game on PC, you can game on Xbox, you can game on mobile. The thing is if you're in the Microsoft ecosystem, you're still generating money for them. You know. Yeah. So, what's your thought?
I just wish Phil. Go ahead. I just wish Phil. I love Phil. I love Phil for what he did. For how he turned the Xbox around, Xbox One around. Yeah. But sometimes, man, I wish he would be like in your face, be like on Twitter, or not be an asshole, but be like, look, our console's the best. You don't need a PlayStation. But he's too nice at times, man. I just wish he would be I'm like, stop with the kumbaya. Like Mooch likes to say, stop with that. You know, he don't care about exclusive content, or, you know, reading that earlier. Or he wants like let everybody have the content we have, and that's why everybody gives us crap about, well, why do you need an Xbox? Come on, Phil, you're the head of the gaming division. Be a little cutthroat sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Come on,
Jago. That's the problem, though. I don't think Phil is ever going to do that, though. I mean,
me neither.
I think that they're taking this broad approach, and a lot of people have given him shit about it, man. I mean, they're focusing too much in the PC space. You know, Donnie D was better. He was more about the box and stuff. He said specifically in these quotes, and if you listen to him, he's not focused just on Xbox. I'm sorry. So
no, he's not.
No.
If you're with Xbox and you're expecting that, I think you're going to be highly disappointed. And I would go as far to say is, if you want a company to be committed only to the console space, you might need to go to PlayStation. I'm just saying.
That is true.
Because Sony they're focused on consoles, and that's their number one priority.
That's the only thing that makes them money.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
So if that's your thing, I'm not going to hate on you, and it's cool to own all the systems. I hope you guys have enough money to own all the systems. But if you are going to dog Xbox for the decisions that they're making as when it comes to gaming, you're in the wrong console space. Because Xbox was created, the idea was brought up to the table, to Bill Gates, and the only reason he signed off is because he felt like he could get in more spaces and not just be stuck on the computer side. He wants to, Do
you guys remember where or know where the original Xbox name came from? What it was going to be back in the day? Mm-hmm. It was basically a PC. It was based on a DirectX 11, I think it was. It was going to be called the Direct Xbox. If you didn't know that.
Yeah.
And they just shortened it. Exactly. They just shortened it to Xbox.
Yeah. So it's not a surprising thing. It's just weird to me. I guess it's, I don't know. Not enough materials out there for people to understand where, Microsoft is a software company. And,
and they're not hurting for money either.
Yeah. So they're profitable, they're making money, and it's not my job to do nonprofit work for this company. But the fact of the matter is, they're $1 trillion company and they make sound business decisions. It's not every decision that they make is successful. Just, look at some of the things they've had to shut down recently,
Their phones.
Yeah, the phones, their song system.
Yeah, Groove music
and all that other stuff. So it's not like they're making good decisions all the time.
I just won't feel sometimes to be, and I know he's not going to be cutthroat, dude. I know that, but I want him to like get excited, like once in a while, throw it in Sony's face, like. And I know he's not going to do it. I just wish he would, but like,
you want to just be a little more assertive.
Yeah, well, our box is way better than yours.
Yeah, because he essentially came out and he's like, well, Minecraft started on the PC side, but then it was the top selling 360 title, and then it's on mobile, and it's on this and that. And it's just like, it's weird because that's their IP, and they're making tons of money off of it. So I can see where they're coming from, but they're working with Steam now, and a lot of people didn't think that was going to happen. So, Microsoft is doing what they need to do to make money, and they're going to make they wouldn't be coming out with an Xbox One X if they didn't care about the console side. Like, don't get it twisted on that side. They care about the console.
I would hate to see the numbers they spent on R&D.
What's up?
I said I would hate to see the numbers they spent on R&D for the Xbox One X.
That's true, man. And they're already in development for the next box that's going to be coming out.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's why you decide whether or not you're going to be an Xbox person or a Sony person. You might not even want to be that. But Xbox has a different philosophy than PlayStation. It's tried and true, right? Mm-hmm. PlayStation's traditionally single-player focused games, and they're focused solely in the console space. They do have PlayStation Now, which is a service, but that's neither here nor there. Xbox, you have all these, you have the multiplayer aspect to it, and the social aspect to it, and the software aspect to it. So they're two different companies, and that's what is good about gaming, is because you get options, and then you throw Nintendo into the mix, bucking the trend. They're like, we're going to come out with this hybrid console that you can, it's called the Switch, and it's not going to be high powered, and you can take it on the go, and that's been a huge success.
Well, that's why I think with Microsoft and Nintendo together, with Nintendo, you got Nintendo, which I've gamed on Atari. I started gaming in '87, and I gamed on Atari first, and my uncles, and then you got Nintendo that saved the gaming industry back in the day.
Yeah,
and most of their franchises are some of the most loved in the world, and now they're with Microsoft. That can only, with the game share. I mean, not game share, but the crossplay. That can only mean good things. Even if it's just that can only mean good things.
Yeah. So, I think it's good, man. I have some concerns. I'm not just a fanboy that's going to be like, oh, Phil Spencer, he does everything right. It's no,
he don't.
He's made some not good decisions, right? So we saw Scalebound in the chat. So yeah, that was one of the unfortunate situations. But Scalebound was in development, and
don't even get me started with Scalebound, dude. That's one of the reasons why I bought an Xbox One.
Yeah, so there's been some bad situations. 2017 arguably was one of the worst years for Xbox as a company. People don't want, Crackdown 3 is a situation. And the thing that I mentioned on Xbot, his podcast, is I said a lot of the biggest thing that needs to be addressed is the first party exclusives.
It does.
They've come out and said, hey, we've invested $1 billion into our first party titles, but we need to see them. All these games that are coming out, like the State of Decay 2 and the Sea of Thieves, those are going to be good games, but those were supposed to come out this year. Okay.
Yeah. So
just because you push them back to 2018 doesn't mean that you get off the hook for new games that need to be announced. Okay. So me and Nick are planning on going to E3. So hopefully we can, yeah, so we're gonna be getting tickets for that, and we're gonna be doing some stuff with that. But that's down the line. But I need to this upcoming E3 is gonna be huge for Xbox. Okay,
it better be.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're going to have the X1 come out, and they need to have something to push the sales for this X1. I mean, X1X. Seriously, they're going to need something. They're going to need the games, because otherwise, I'm just buying a new game, a new Xbox One X for no reason other than maybe some developers from some other third-party company that makes a game for it. You know what I mean? So they really need to step up their game for first party. So, and I mean, I'm not one for first party on Xbox. I'm more for Xbox for the social aspect of it. Most of the games that we play are third-party games anyway. They're not.
And that's most people, Nick.
Right, and that's most people. But but I could just keep my Xbox One and not get the One X if they're not going to have exclusives for it. So they really need to deliver next year when it comes to these first-party games, or at least give us some glimmer of hope. But not just a glimmer of hope, because that's what we've been kind of hinging on for the last 4 years from the Xbox One came out. So there needs to be execution in this for real. And that's kind of my biggest criticism with this whole Phil Spencer thing is like, bro, we need some execution from you ASAP. Like I'm glad you came through and fixed the Xbox situation and saved the Xbox division and did the right thing. But now we need some solid execution and like delivery on all the promises that you've been making. Like
they need to show at least 2 new exclusives at E3 this year. That's not coming out 3 years later. That's coming out at the end of the year. That's like when they show it at E3, it's almost ready. Like it'll be coming out in November.
Yeah,
they need to.
So, hey, it's rumored that Halo has like a 3-year dev cycle. If you look back through the years, so we should be getting another Halo 6 at E3. We should be getting in that announcement, but that's not what we're looking for. Okay, that's one of the games that we know is going to be coming out. We're looking for some new stuff. Xbox. And it was said in the chat, if they don't come out with some new IPs, they're going to be screwed. And it's true. I personally have been saying, this was a down year for Xbox, but the proof's in the pudding. If you invested $1 billion, because some people think that this $1 billion was invested when Phil Spencer was hired, but that's not the case. The $1 billion was invested at the beginning of the generation in 2013.
Yep.
Okay. So it's not a new thing, and it takes years and years to make these games, but it's not going to be acceptable for them to come to the table and say, and spill off Halo and try to get the pop from that, and then say, we have this, and then show a highlight reel of 2017 E3. That's not going to be acceptable.
Right. Like I mean, yeah, we know we're going to get our Gears of Wars, and we know we're going to get our Halos. That they just live on that. I need seriously some good single player, different idea type games. Like when Scalebound was announced, that game looked dope, and I was excited for Scalebound.
It was fire, dude. That was fire.
Bro, that game looks dope, and then it got canceled, so that kind of hurt. That kind of hurt. But they need more ideas like that. They really do need more ideas like Scalebound, and just something different. I mean, someone said that, you know, Anthem's not an Xbox exclusive, which is true. It would have been awesome if they could have gotten that as an exclusive. You know what I mean? Like, they need to start. That's where Phil needs to get more cutthroat.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Is getting exclusives like that's for Xbox only, and you'll be good. That's what I'm looking for.
Even returning
I'll be honest. Anthem, when I saw Anthem at E3, that game got me more excited than any other thing I saw on Sony's or Microsoft's show floor. And if they could lock that down, are you kidding me? Because it reminded me of God. I said it then when I was watching, but it reminded me of being like Iron Man and God. It was like 3 games mixed together. One of them was being Iron Man, but it looks so good. Oh my God! If they could get that, dude.
See, the thing is,
that is an exclusive.
Well, they won't, but they're talking about here in the chat that they're getting the marketing to it, kind of like how Sony gets the marketing.
They need to.
So that's good. So Microsoft marketing, the marketing for it. No.
Marketing is kind of an interesting thing because the marketing deal that Destiny has with PlayStation is crazy. They're locking out content from Xbox people for what was it on the last stuff that came out for Destiny that was locked out for 2 years,
and then they changed it all of a sudden for 2 years, and now we're just now going to get stuff that we should have got during King's Fall.
So essentially, I'm not a fan of that model. So that's essentially what Phil came out and he spoke against because he's a gamer and he plays Destiny. He's came out and specifically stated that he plays Destiny.
I wish you would back on that one, bro, man. They got done dirty by Sony on that one, man.
That's a really, I wish you would buck back on. Cutthroat deal. And
I mean, being kumbaya is cool, but there's certain things that you need to really buck back on. And
sometimes you need to dial back the kumbaya if you want your brand to succeed, dude. Your box to sell.
So that's a lot of people knock Phil on that, and I can't back him up on that situation because, they have other areas to focus on, like the PC side and whatever else. But if you decide to have a console, which they do, they have the Xbox One X and they have the Xbox One and the S. You have all these people that are investing in that that space, so you need to make sure that you appease that crowd. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to do all the stuff that Sony's doing, but you do need to appease them by bringing first-party titles and some exclusive deals. So
when I saw them bring up where you could buy a digital game and it would be available on your PC, when I first read that article, I was like, holy shit! Here goes the PlayStation fanboys saying, "Why do you need to buy an Xbox?" And I was right. I knew it was going to happen. And I didn't like it at the time, but at the end of the day, it doesn't bother me. But I knew people would say that, well, you don't need to buy an Xbox then. What's the point of Xbox being in business? Just buy a PC. I mean, I saw that coming, and it did. I mean, that irked crap out of me. Yep. But it's good for them. It's good for them because there's more PCs in everybody's houses than there is Xboxes. But I knew that would come back and bite them in the ass.
But that statement's almost kind of true at this point. That's kind of what I'm waiting on. Like, for the Xbox One X, they need to have something because, because we're getting to that point. What is the point of having an Xbox other than the social aspect, which I do love, and that's how I met all my friends. And none of my friends are leaving Xbox. And if we do leave Xbox, we're going to get a PC. We're not going to Sony. So suck it, Sony ponies. So I mean, so we end up doing, but for real, like, they need to have something next year, and they need to bring an ASAP. Because I will end up getting a PC.
They need to have Anthem exclusive to the Xbox One X or S, whatever, just a console, not make it available to PC.
I don't think that's happening, but
it ain't gonna happen. I know that.
Yeah. No, but here's the
EA's
deal.
Gonna want their money.
Yeah, here's the deal. Like, I've heard this over and over. Phil Spencer has been quoted to say this, that the Xbox One S is going to outsell the X, and they're stating that it's not for everybody. Do you think? I don't understand this approach, dude. I understand the S is cheaper, and it's going to be selling to the masses. But if you look at the MPD for a couple months back, they were struggling to crack, what was it, 100,000 sales. So I think if you look at the pre-orders for the Xbox One X, they've been outstanding. They've been selling out everywhere. like, why wouldn't you? Why would you say that? I understand it might be the case. Yes, might be the number one seller, but why would you undercut the Xbox One X and say?
Oh my God! You're speaking a mouthful, Salty. You're undercutting your own new system coming out.
Yeah.
Why?
So I mean, well, it doesn't make no difference to Microsoft whichever one gets the money, as long as they get the money. So I mean, that's what that is. But they need to realize, like, if Sony keeps getting the grass in the console market, they're gonna eventually phase out the Xbox. So I mean,
they might as well come out there and go, we don't want that
coming. Maybe that's what they want. Maybe they see that coming and saying, well, the console market's going to get phased out anyway. We might as well slowly make the shift to PC. I don't know. That's just a theory, but maybe that's what they see. Maybe they're looking down the road and Sony's not looking down the road. Maybe they have all the money, because I mean, they do have money. So I mean, maybe they're looking down the road thinking this is where gaming's heading. We need to slowly edge that way, and maybe Sony's just stuck in their ways and not moving.
Because
he might as well come out and go, I don't care if you buy the Xbox One X or not, just buy an S.
Exactly. It's like, well, you're coming out, you did all this R&D for the Xbox One X, and you're doing these Taco Bell promotions and Doritos, and it feels like a new console, but it's not, right? So it just feels counterproductive, in my opinion, and this is my opinion. You know, I might get blasted for it or whatever.
No, my opinion is your opinion. You're right.
You know, so that's what I'm trying to. It's not. They're kind of comparing it to the elite controllers, right? They're like, we marketed that as a premium product, and that's sold out everywhere. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is people are gonna, are willing to pay $1,000 for a cell phone, which is the iPhone X. You know, if they see technology as a good buy, they're gonna pay the money, man. I don't undercut your product. I understand that the S is cheap as hell. They're doing all these bundles with it. It's going to sell like hotcakes during the holidays, and that's the main system to sell. But man, I mean, if they could have just not done that, I would have been cool with that. That was in the news, and that was one of the things that came up in this interview in Brazil. And they keep saying it over and over, which is more annoying to me. Well,
if the Elite controller is like buying an Xbox One X, I'll just buy the Elite controller and watch my 4K Blu-rays on the controller.
Shit, I mean, come on, dude. So
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm super hyped up for the X coming out, and a lot of people are, and I don't know. The way it goes with these consoles is, the new console comes out, and then because these new iterations and not generations, so that's the way Microsoft is going with their models. So this is a new thing for gamers.
If you look
it's not like we're waiting.
If you look at the power difference between the OG Xbox, which is like 1.31 T-flops, and you look at the X, which is 6, they can call it a mid-gen refresh all they want to, but dude, that's like a new console. That is like a next-gen console.
It's true, man. I mean, PSN Down said they don't want to compete with each other, and that's fine and well, but the fact of the matter is you're coming out with a new console, okay? So that's the trouble with doing these iterations is, you don't want to step on the feet of your other consumers, but the fact of the matter is you're making this huge console with lots of power, there's going to be some power to,
let's be real, and whenever they come out with the Xbox One X2, whenever that is, probably 2020, 2021, the S will be dead. It's going to be dead. Everybody's got an S. Yeah, it's going to be gone. The X will be the base console, and the Xbox X2 will be the premium product then.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like they've been quoted as saying that they're going to follow the cell phone model. As if you might not like it or whatever, but that's the model that Microsoft is taking. They want to give you options, so it's just like a cell phone. If you want to upgrade. If you want to keep your old phone, that's fine. You're still with us, right? It's the way the console is. That's why they came out with this backwards compatibility. It was all under one big plan. When they came out with the 360 backwards compatibility, that was because they were being, preparing for the future. They don't want to leave people behind, and it's under this big model of keeping people under one, space.
And that's good for keeping customers.
Yeah, I don't know if they're even going to come out with a new console, a new generation. I think that's done for Xbox.
Well, the Xbox, they say whatever they say it called the X2.
The new iteration in like 3 years, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So yeah, that's going to be like what the Xbox One something, whatever they want to call it. So
they need to stick to a name. That's for one. You got the Xbox, and you got the Xbox 360, and you got the Xbox One.
Yeah, they need to like
keep it one thing.
They need to go back to the Xbox situation just with that, and then something at the end of it, like with cell phones, they like the iPhone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then like the S Plus or whatever. It needs to be something like that that can be streamlined. I don't know if they can still stay with this Xbox One, blah blah blah. You know,
I never agreed with the Xbox One name anyway, because the last one was 360. And you're gonna go to one, and damn, the Xbox. I saw some, memes. Xbox just took 359 steps back. Come on,
yeah.
They should have figured out a name on the Xbox 360.
With the Xbox One, they were trying to do that all-in-one entertainment.
All-in-one entertainment system, but that didn't work out for them.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like gets people confused. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's confusing, and I can see like with the Xbox One X, since it was an iteration, it's not a generation. They didn't want to call it something new, because if they gave it a completely different name, then people would be like, "Well, this is a new system," when it's not. So they were in a no-win situation with that, because I'm sure they didn't want to keep the Xbox One name, but it is what it is, man. I mean, it's not that bad. I can remember the reactions to when the announcement came out that it was going to be called the Xbox One X. People were like, "What? That's crappy."
I actually agree. I actually agree with that, because Xbox One X spells what?
Xbox.
Yeah, cool. I thought it was that first time. I thought they were actually smart when they given a console a name.
Mm-hmm.
Now I hope next time they do an iteration or whatever they want to call it, they keep it Xbox. Just add a 2 to it, or just something to make it simple. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it should be interesting to see in the future. We know for a fact, it's been stated, the two different companies' approaches to, the future. So it's left to be seen when PlayStation's going to go to the PlayStation 5, because they're not going to react based off of the X. I'm sorry to say that, but as long as the PlayStation 4 is printing money for them, they're going to just stick with what they have. So
they are.
So anyway, that's the last topic for tonight. I mean, it was a great podcast. We got some fire spit from Fonzarelli's mouth. That was tight. He was really passionate about that. We're all passionate about the microtransaction situation. But
hope I didn't spit too much.
Nah, we're good. We're good, man. Thanks again, Jago, for coming on, man. We love having you on. We love having
appreciate having me, brother.
Side of the
Anytime.
Story, So let's do our outros. Let everybody know where they can find you. Let's start with Nick. And yeah.
You can find me, Nick Fury, how it's spelled in the chat. That's my YouTube channel. You can just search me up. You'll see the picture there. Twitter, the same thing. Star Wars Battlefront 2 giveaway still live. There's a video on my YouTube channel talking about it. I would put the link in the chat, but I can't do that for some reason. So check it out there. And that's pretty much it.
Cool, man. So yeah, he's doing a giveaway for Battlefront 2, the microtransaction situation there. So yeah, hit that up, man.
Well, I'm helping you out with those microtransactions. You might be able to get it for free, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, he's doing a Gleam situation.
Yeah, it's a Gleam contest on Gleam.
So we'll retweet that out on our social medias. We're active there, and it's a fun community there. Jago, where can people find you? What's going on with you?
People know it's Jago. Xbox One and Twitter. Jago Kukin.
Cool, man. Yeah, I'm Saltiest Gaming. I want to thank everybody in the chat for stopping by and hanging out with us. The channel is relatively new. We're growing quick. Just hit 1,600 followers on Twitter. I'm very active there. You can hit me up there. It's Saltiest Gaming. The eyes of one. I'm also on Xbox Live. It's Saltiest Gaming, one word. And my channel, this is where we're at right now. I'm going to be coming out with a couple different videos this week. I have some ideas in the works, so that should be interesting. Stay tuned there. We're going to be doing a Cuphead giveaway next week. I know the game's been out for a while, but my friend Lex was gracious enough to give that code.
It's a great game, brother. It's a great game.
Yeah, he's trying to help the channel out and help the channel grow. So I'll retweet that out on my social media. So stay tuned there. If you haven't retweeted or whatever, I'll let you know about that. Anyway, I
just want to say, follow these guys. If you hadn't followed them, follow me, follow Salty, follow Nick. Good guys.
Yep. So yeah, thanks again, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, stay salty, my friends.
Stay salty.